Welcome back to GearWire. I am Owen O'Malley, and in this next series of videos we're going to be checking out a couple of pedals from Radial, the Canadian maker of pro audio solutions. We're going to look at a couple pedals that work really great together. This first one is the Radial JDX. It is the Amplifier DI box. This pedal is made to go between an amplifier and the speaker cabinet. Right now I've got it hooked up to, well, my amplifier feed is coming from a PV6505 plus head, 100 watts, and going out to a Marshall 1960 4x12 cabinet loaded with Celestian greenbacks. Now this box is basically designed as a quick way to set up on tour without necessarily having to mic your cabinet, because it emulates the sound of a guitar cabinet mic'd up with an SM57. You could call it a cabinet simulator. They call it a reactive amp emulation. You could also, however, use it on stage in conjunction with a microphone to fatten up your guitar sound, or also in the recording studio to fatten up your guitar sound. And let's hear kind of what that sounds like. It's a very simple box features-wise. You've got your in from the amplifier out to the speaker. You've got a ground lift, woohoo, because it is a direct box. And you've also got a 180-degree polarity switch because it was designed to use in conjunction with a microphone signal as an option. It's an active DI, so it comes with a power supply here with that cranberry red cable that Radial supplies with all their stuff. So right now let's just listen to a couple of different flavors out of this amp. We'll listen to some clean flavors, some crunch flavors, and some thick overdrive flavors. Right now this is just a clean setting on the amp, and we are just listening to, well, let's listen to the mic'd cabinet first. We've got a 57 up on our Marshall cabinet here. And now let's listen to the JDX. So you can already tell it doesn't sound like a direct box. It does not sound like a direct guitar signal. Now if we combine these two sources, get some pretty rich tones there. But first let's hear how the JDX sounds with the amp in a slightly different mode. So now I've turned on the crunch on the clean channel on the 6505, so we've got a little more of a rhythmy crunch tone. And here's the 57, the actual 57 mic in the cabinet. And now here is the JDX. Now you can already hear that it's not, exactly the same as the sound of the 57 in this room, micing this cabinet in the position that I've got, our 57 set up in. However, it does sound like a cabinet mic'd up by a 57 somewhere. So you can see that I've got it EQ'd slightly differently to get it to match even closer to the way I have it set up, but it's still the sound is more like a mic'd cabinet than it is a DI box. Let's now move on to a more saturated tone. Okay, so now we are on our overdrive channel, our 6505, and this is what the 57 on the cabinet sounds like. Now let's listen to the JDX. So you can actually hear the sound coming out of the JDX right now is a little bit fuller than my mic'd sound. I probably could have spent more time positioning the mic on our cabinet here to get a fuller sort of distorted sound. But the sound coming out of the JDX is totally great and usable. So you can hear how if you were to bring this on tour, in a live situation, you'd be able to set up much faster and have a much more consistent sound from show to show, because you'd be able to basically just be able to run this direct XLR line out to the sound guy and have a pretty full tone from show to show, a totally usable tone without any kind of guesswork or risking sound guys that don't necessarily know how to mic up a cabinet. Now in the next video, let me go grab the pedal that we're going to be using next time. So now obviously you can combine these tones, the mic'd cabinet tones and the JDX tones, to get some full tones. Although you might sort of, obviously you're going to end up with some phasing issues, which is why Radial recommends that you pair it with this guy, the Radial Phaser, which is a continuous phase time alignment tool, and we'll check that out in the next video. You've been watching GearWire.com. I'm Owen O'Malley, and this was the Radial JDX Amplifier DI box. Oh, one word of warning. It is pretty obviously printed on here, but this is not a load box. A speaker must be connected to the JDX to speaker out. Otherwise, you will destroy your amp's power section. Words to the wise. We'll see you next time.